I'm now testing a Zenith radio chassis. This is from this Zenith radio here. And the model number is H-615. This one has been really difficult to try to figure out the problems on. I replaced the mica capacitors in the second IF can, but I still could get no sound at all. I even tried to put another diode on for the detector. So I'm trying to see if any portions of this will work, and I checked out the audio section first of all, and that did seem to work okay with audio from a CD player. But I'm starting at the RF and oscillator and mixer stage now, and it seems like those stages are actually working. I'm going to then continue to progress through the radio and continue to make the stages further down the signal chain work. As a troubleshooting aid, I'm using a Packard Bell stereo tuner chassis here. We'll put new capacitors in the Packard Bell amplifier and in the tuner. Luckily, didn't have any paper caps in there, so it wasn't too big of a job. Just uses two 6AV or two 6AQ5 output tubes, 6CA4 rectifier. I've broken the circuit to the original Packard Bell 6BE6 AM oscillator tube and hooked up the plate and screen leads to the Zenith chassis. So plate and screen voltage for the 12BE6 and the Zenith is coming from the Packard Bell. The rest of the voltages for the RF amplifier and the oscillator coil are coming from the Zenith power supply. Got the Zenith plugged into an isolation transformer. This would be very dangerous to do if you weren't using an isolation transformer, because you could end up having a short across the power line theoretically if this were grounded to the earth ground and you hooked up the power supply negative to the ground here. But since we're using an isolation transformer, the ground connection is safe. So let me turn up the volume now on the Packard Bell, and you can hear that it's getting good performance from the RF and oscillator stage on the Zenith.
You need to kind of just keep a real close eye on what is happening at that house, because
big man. Vote for Ted Cruz for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Club for Growth Action, clubforgrowth.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
One day a week. Residents with addresses ending in an odd number will be able to water 2 hours on Tuesday between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m.
So, good luck there, buddy. Watch out, man. This thing looks like it's progressed farther, and it could very easily...
I've answered a whole bunch of questions. I don't know any more about it than what you guys know. This is just an unfortunate situation for everybody here, because it just takes away from the program as a whole, because everybody's focused on something that is not productive for us.
Longtime Carl Edwards Cup Series crew chief Bob.
So now that those stages are working, I'm going to move on to the IF stage, and we can still use the Packard Bell as a troubleshooting aid. We'll just connect up the leads from the Packard Bell over to the IF amplifier here, and we can see if this first IF is working. It's a large size can, it's kind of hard to see, but it uses fixed capacitors and permeability tuning, so there might be bad mica caps in there. We'll now continue troubleshooting this by troubleshooting the IF circuit.